do
That's
that?
a
Does it
liquor
turn
store.
off?
To your right's a liquor store, Chaldean owned. This Auto Park, the Spring Valley Produce is Chaldean owned. The smoke shop is Chaldean owned. The barber shop is Chaldean owned. And then there's a smoke shop. That's not okay. There's the Rush Exotic Audio that's Chaldean owned. Metro PCS, and then this is our store.
What are-
The Chaldean businesses provide a large majority of East County's economic social status. Many of them who have come to the United States with nothing and work countless hours to make their living. As majority of the Chaldean businesses are liquor and gas stations, most owners work up to 45 through 70 hours a week. Aiden's dad, Tony Conja, talked about the effects Chaldeans have brought to San Diego. As Tony was a kid growing up, he had a lot of fun hanging around with friends and going to parties. He said that Chaldeans would make themselves widely known as they would spend lots of money on fine jewelry and expensive cars. They like to make themselves widely known in a good way, as they would like to donate to the poor and help with multiple service opportunities at their local church. Back in Iraq, the liquor store business was already on the upscale, so Tony and his brothers already knew exactly what to head for when they came to America. A help coming to America was knowing most of your friends and family that also came from Iraq, so you have people to talk to, and also other people that didn't know English as well.
What was it like moving from the Middle East to the United States, and what was the hardest part about moving?
The hardest part about moving is adjusting to a different language, not having any friends. I was 12 years old and just felt kind of, different, when you move from a country that you grew up in and you have all your friends and you just leave everything behind and you come to a country that you don't know anybody. It's not that easy, especially when the language is different. So we had to adjust to learn the language. It took me a while to get adjusted to the school system here. It was completely different than our school system. So after about 6 months of struggling with the language, watched a lot of TV, and that's how I really learned to speak the language and how I got better at it by watching so much TV. And in 1975, when we came out here, our first landing stop was Michigan, and we lived in Michigan for almost a year. And the cold weather wasn't something we were used to because back home it's not that cold. So that wasn't, something we liked, and I enjoyed personally. I didn't like the snow. My sister came out to California in 1976, and she found a business, and she talked to my mom about being partners in. And my mom said we would love to be partners, and my mom said we are moving to California. And at the young age of 12, really didn't have much to say in it, so we all packed from Michigan and moved out to San Diego, and that's when we started in a supermarket business in 1976, where me and family of 9 started working in a supermarket. And we had about 25 other employees. We didn't know much about the business, the supermarket business, but we always worked in the liquor store business since back home. So it wasn't that hard for us to adjust. So we worked hard for 5 years in the supermarket business, and we were paying our bills and everything was going well. And we got a letter from the landlord saying your lease is up, and we would have to pay a crazy amount of rent because we didn't have a lease anymore. And that was one thing we did not know about at the time when we came to America, because my brother-in-law was the one in charge of negotiating the lease and the purchase of the business. So after 5 years of hard work in the supermarket, we basically lost everything because our rent went from $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month, and we had to kind of give up the store, the supermarket. And from then, that's when the liquor store business started.
How was your life growing up in the Middle East?
Well, when I was 12 years old, my mom and my brothers decided to come to America, and we left Iraq during good times. There was nothing going on in Iraq, but we just decided to come for a better place. My sister had already been in the United States since 1969, so she kept talking to my mom about coming to America, and my mom made the decision to come out to America in 1975.
What was it like owning your first liquor store, and how did you handle working from going to school and going to work?
Well, at first, I mean, when we moved out here in 1976, when I came to America, I was in 6th grade. And then in Michigan, I only went to school for 6 months in the 7th grade. And then we moved to California, and then I took the test and I started in the 10th grade. So I kind of skipped a lot of school, but that's where they put me in according to the test that I took. So I started high school in 1976. I was in the 10th grade, and I would go to school, and from school I would go straight to the supermarket and work from 2:30 till 10 o'clock at night, go home, do some homework, go to sleep, get up and go to school. So basically my life of high school was mostly going to school, coming home, going straight to work, and then after that coming home and doing some homework, eating. So I spent the majority of my high school just working and going to school. Had to work to support the family. We were new in the country, and all of us had to help to survive and make sure that we're able to succeed.